What would you do if a longtime friend started making your life a living hell, abusing your beloved pet, and secretly plotting to leave you in a mountain of debt? In today's story, the protagonist's choice is a masterclass in how to handle it. I, Clara, 30F, had shared a home with my childhood friend, Leo, 30M, for 6 years. We'd known each other for 2 decades. Our families intertwined through countless barbecues and holidays, making our bond feel almost familial. When I moved in, my cherished cat, Whiskers, came with me. Leo was incredibly accepting of her, and though I was her legal owner and paid for all her needs, he absolutely adored her, spending hours cuddling with her. Having lived independently before, I owned all the furniture, white goods, essentially everything but the contents of his bedroom. About 3.5 years into our living arrangement, Leo started dating a woman named Fiona, who practically moved in immediately. Despite this, I continued to pay half the rent. Fiona's presence immediately shifted the dynamic. She was consistently rude to me, clearly wanting Leo to herself. Our shared lounge, attached to the kitchen, had always been a common space where Leo and I would watch TV or simply coexist while one of us cooked or worked. With Fiona around, that had to stop as I was supposedly interfering with their couple time. Her attitude towards me deteriorated steadily, and shockingly, Leo's behavior followed suit. They'd leave sex toys strewn about, watch movies at blaring volumes late into the night even though my bedroom was right there, and glare at me if I dared to cook during their sacred 4 to 9 p.m. TV hugging hours. The situation escalated when I started dating someone, Julian, and began spending more time away from the apartment. This seemed to trigger something in Leo. He began a horrifying campaign against Whiskers, locking her in small cages and even putting her in the shower. He also started speaking to me differently and intentionally leaving the kitchen in an absolute, moldy mess, making it nearly impossible for me to cook. I even found used condoms in the lounge. Our communication eventually ceased, but the torment continued unabated. This reveals Leo's greatest fatal flaw, his immaturity and inability to confront issues directly, choosing passive-aggressive cruelty instead. Realizing my living situation was no longer sustainable, I started discreetly looking for a new place. The lease was due to expire in 4 months, but we hadn't discussed renewal. It was through Leo's sister, Maya, who was also a close friend of mine, that I uncovered a shocking truth. Leo and Fiona had been secretly saving to move out and planned to leave in a few weeks, news that was entirely new to me. This revelation hit hard. I couldn't afford the rent alone. Fortunately, I found a new apartment before they did. I spoke to the estate agent, explaining the situation. It turned out Leo hadn't been paying his full share of the rent, and Fiona wasn't even listed on the lease. The agent, thankfully, didn't hold me accountable for his deceit. I paid 4 weeks of rent in advance before I made my move. I decided against telling them when I was leaving. On a day they were out, my friends helped me pack everything. We cleaned the house until it was spotless. And yes, I took all my furniture, all my white goods, the fridge, microwave, washer, and dryer, and all my kitchenware. Essentially, everything but the contents of Leo's room. And of course, I took Whiskers, my cat, with me. The silence on their end was deafening until I was gone. Then, my phone exploded. Hundreds of missed calls and abusive messages flooded in, lambasting me for not notifying them and for taking everything and their cat. Most of Leo's family joined the chorus, messaging me to call me an asshole. My own parents, despite supporting my decision because they knew my reasons, also called me an asshole. Their concern stemmed from the fractured relationship between our families, who had shared countless Sunday barbecues and holidays. Every time my parents reached out to Leo's folks, they were met with the question of when I would apologize. NTA, let me get this straight. Your friend was harassing you, abusing your cat, and planned to up and leave you with a massive bill for his rent and his unpaid rent, and people are telling you that you're the asshole for getting out of there and leaving him with all of the problems of his own making? He and his girlfriend have made their bed. Now it is time for them to lie in it. The sentiment from the online community, echoed by a user named A Digital Hedgehog, was overwhelmingly in my favor. It felt validating to know that others saw the situation for what it was. Leo and Fiona had indeed made their bed, and now it was time for them to lie in it. As another user, Foible succinctly put it, they were nightmares, and it sounds like he got to the point of mistreating your cat. So why the hell should he complain that you took your cat with you? It felt good to get this off my chest. I had tried to communicate the issues to Leo, but he had refused to hear it. He'd dismiss my concerns, claiming I was imagining things or being too critical of Fiona. By the end, he would just stare at me before walking away. There were no issues with the landlord or the agents. In Australia, we communicate through agents, and they were fully aware of the situation. My rent payments went directly to them via bank transfer, which revealed that Leo was 2 months behind, putting us collectively 1 month in arrears and on the verge of a formal warning. Interestingly, Leo is a triplet, and his sister, Maya, along with his brother, still supports my decision. They were among the 4 of us who initially lived together, but his other siblings had moved out years prior. Maya was the one who discovered Leo and Fiona's plan to leave, and both she and his brother helped me move out, encouraging me not to tell him. They no longer speak to Leo over this, which, despite everything, still makes me feel a pang of guilt. This all happened 6 months ago. I'm now living very happily with Julian, and Whiskers absolutely adores him. I didn't intend to be petty or an asshole. I left without notice because Leo had become incredibly temperamental towards the end, and I genuinely feared he might damage or steal my belongings. Or worse, my cat. The story serves as a powerful reminder that sometimes, protecting yourself and your well-being requires taking drastic measures, even if it means severing long-standing ties. What would you have done in Clara's situation? And how would you have handled the fallout with your respective families?